You are watching CIOTV by Enterprise IT World, a production of Accent Infomedia.
Hello and welcome to CIOTV.live, a production of Accent Infomedia and a sister concern of Enterprise IT World and Enterprise MIA. Ladies and gentlemen, this episode of CIOTV.live interview is brought forward by Venus Technologies, a UAE-based technology company. We have been engaging the CIOs, CISOs, and the entire ecosystem to create thought leadership around various technologies, including Industry 4.0, digitization, cloud computing, BI, automation, and so on and so forth. Today, we have got Mr. Mustansir Aziz, who is the head of information technology from Automech Group, which is a manufacturing conglomerate out of UAE. Mr. Aziz is a technocrat and result-oriented professional with 20 plus years experience in information technology, with expertise in handling a diverse range of operational technology, including digital transformation, IT management, virtualization, cloud computing, capacity planning, budgeting, project management, ERP implementation, skill management, business continuity, so on and so forth. And he has been receiving for many years so many awards and accolades for his good work. Thank you, Mr. Aziz, for taking time out and speaking to CIOTV.live.
Thank you, Sanjay, for this exhaustive introduction. Thank you for inviting me to this session.
All right, I know that you are on a very hot seat, handling so many organizations within this large organization, and your organization into manufacturing sector as well. So the biggest concern, biggest goal of the IT head, CIO, CISO is achieving automation, achieving Industry 4.0, because that's something which is a dream project for any of the thought leaders or leadership in the technology, even for the management. So how have you seen it, the trend in 4.0 adoption in this region within your organization?
See, for the benefit of the viewers, actually, let us first go through the history of the different industrial revolutions. Almost 300 years have passed since the first industrial revolution, where machines were developed for production that used water and steam power instead of human and animal power. Okay, that was the first industrial revolution. After that, almost 100 years since then, machines and assembly lines running on oil, gas, and electric power were introduced. These, along with that time nascent telephone and telegraphic modes of communication, brought mass production as well as some level of automation in manufacturing. This was the start of automation at that point of time. This what we call is the second industrial revolution. Then came the introduction of computers, advanced telecommunications, and some data analysis into the manufacturing process. Transistors and PLCs started to be installed in the machines so as to help automate some processes and also used to get some data that could be shared further. Now, the fourth industrial revolution, as now the industry coined term is Industry 4.0. When we see it, it actually originated in the year 2011 from a project in the high-tech strategy for the German government, which promoted computerization of manufacturing. It had started the concept of smart factories integrating machines with IT technologies such as cloud computing, IoT, augmented reality, data integration, smart sensors, etc., whatnot. The adoption of Industry 4.0 or the fourth industrial revolution has now resulted in more efficient and productivity across the whole life cycle. Customizations are now easily possible based upon customer requirements. It also provides flexibility to the manufacturer to meet customer demands. Also, the data which is collected from different sources, be it from the machines, processes, sensors, and the IoT devices. Now that combined with the historical operation data and better information transformation is achieved while also allowing better decision capabilities. Now coming back to the second part of your question, adoption of this in this region. I have always advocated UAE has been a pioneer and trendsetter in adopting latest technologies thanks to the visionary leadership of this country. The UAE Ministry of Industry and Advanced Technology aims to make the UAE's manufacturing and industrial sector global, competitive, productive, and sustainable in line with the fourth industrial revolution. For this, the ministry has launched operational 300 billion to accelerate the digital transformation of this sector. It will boost productivity and create thousands of new high-skilled jobs. It aims at raising the industrial sector's contribution to the GDP to 300 billion by 2031. So that's it.
Oh, okay, excellent. Your observation is quite accurate in terms of the engagement of the technology in this region, and of course, this country in this region is actually a pioneer. And how has been your experience so far in this entire thing?
See, I have been in this IT field for more than 2 decades. When we go to see in the last decade, many developments have taken place in this area. Industry 4.0, the fourth industrial revolution, seeks to improve both production and management systems with automation at the forefront. The transformation journey for any organization will succeed only if the employees are empowered. As you may be knowing, change managers, employment, motivation, and skills are critical for organizational transformations. This includes digital transformations also. Also, an organization to succeed, they have to engage the customers. They have to optimize operational skills, services, and products. Also, I firmly believe that the silos that exist between different departments and having the different data about these departments should be broken. So it has to have a singular point in achieving the transformation.
All right. Now, the transformation has been happening of late. The management were rigid at the earlier times. Now the management is changed. They have got a different ask to the IT leaders. So what exactly are you expecting? Are they expecting out of you or your peer group or the IT heads in other organizations?
See, with the huge developments happening around in the region and increasing the competition, it is more important for the management to adopt Industry 4.0. Supply chain and logistics, as you may be knowing, is still an issue as the world slowly comes out of the grips of the pandemic. It has created a big window of opportunity to emerge on top. The management are already highly mobilized by digital transformation and are expecting the same from the IT. And by the evolution of their own core businesses. Industry 4.0 does entrust them with the vision of refocusing major groups on customer expectations rather than on the strategic and operational issues. Industry 4.0 concerns the entire management chain, not only the IT, but at the end, it is the CEO or the top level management who can accelerate its implementation much more effectively than any other managerial level. So today, the CEO is expected to drive an evolution in the company's culture and working methods in order to build new personalized relationships with the customers.
All right.
Invention has always been one thing that came naturally to man. From the great ancestor of us all who discovered the wheel, we have been moving forward with each step of our evolution to build bigger and greater things. Monuments and pyramids to technological marvels, making sure we stay one step ahead of the world around us. At Finesse, we have reached an important milestone in that journey. What began with the wheel is now our evolution, with the digital transformation of businesses being the crux of the whole operation. Whether it be by improving aspects of robotic automation to improve workflow in the manufacturing sector, or developing artificial intelligence and chatbots almost ready to pass the Turing test, we can safely say we are at the cutting edge of what technology has to offer mankind. The man who built the first wheel would love to see what his invention has left us with. A path forward we climb in ways never imagined. For as someone said, if you're setting out to do something, do it with finesse.
Now that brings a lot of challenges for you, or a huge responsibility on your head. So what are all those challenges that you are seeing?
As a CIO, I truly understand the value of digital transformation that can be delivered by Industry 4.0 and IoT. Among the many benefits are the reduction in operational costs, minimizing downtime, the improvement of equipment maintenance, synchronization of inventory management, and overall more efficient operation. However, there are some challenges which I am facing, which the industry group, my peers would be facing. And those are, some of them are actually ensuring dependable connectivity between people, equipment, and devices. It will be critical, especially with the increase of mobile and connected devices as part of IoT. A research carried out forecasts a compound annual growth rate of 55% through 2030 for the number of wireless connections in factories with the advent of 5G. Second challenge we all face is security. Now, since the shift to wireless connectivity needed for Industry 4.0, the potential risk from both localized and external attacks significantly increases. As more IoT devices connect across wireless networks, they will increasingly become security targets. The third most important challenge is managing data protection. Effective data management continues to be a significant source of concern. And with connectivity on the rise and hybrid working becoming the norm due to the pandemic, risk of proliferation of sensitive and confidential data increases. There is also a challenge of bridging the IT skills gap. Now, due to massive digital transformation, talent supply has fallen short of demand. And the main challenge is change resistance. The employees in a company, in an organization, the fear of losing status and job security among the workforce harnessing change resistance, which is a very big challenge for all the management stakeholders to take care.
All right, now you uttered the words security. Now, security is from, I think, multiple sides, multiple ways it is coming. The one side is security from inside, and the other one is security from outside. The hacking happens outside. The other thing is that security, one is IT security, the other is OT security, and you are very much into it. We have got OT sensor-based IoT devices. Those are always vulnerable. People, lurking, going inside your server or system, they're lurking for the weakest moment when they can attack. So what is your strategy as far as cybersecurity is concerned? How do you ensure the organization being immune from the cybersecurity? What's kind of long-term strategy?
See, cybersecurity has to be tightly aligned with the overall strategic objectives of the business. Only then it can be achieved. Now, digital transformation initiatives should also focus on cybersecurity immediately and strategically. Cybersecurity must be integrated into all aspects of business if they are built upon digital technologies, or if customer experiences are determined by digital interaction, and also if employee productivity is determined by what level of access to application and data is given. Now, all this forms the part of Industry 4.0. Keeping up with the cybersecurity best practice and adapting to a changing threat landscape, this minimizes the level of risks. Cybersecurity strategy design typically should involve business decisions, such as whether we are moving applications to the cloud, whether we are modernizing on-premise IT to become cloud-like, automating supply chains, evolving corporate cultures to be digitally native. All these are basically ingredients wherein cybersecurity should be taken forefront. Some of the cybersecurity points which are trending and which I am also now currently looking at as zero trust, CASB, perimeter firewalls, XDR, multi-level MFA, etc. So these are some of the things which are actually currently has to be looked upon.
All right. Now, Industry 4.0, cybersecurity, digital. So three needs to be integrated with each other with, a kind of airtight compartment. So everything it fail-proof, secured, and automated as well. So digital strategy or digital transformation, the layer has to be really, really strong. So how do you see that, and what has been your journey through to digital transformation?
See, in my opinion, digital transformation, my digital strategy would be I plan for leveraging technology focused initiatives and data assets to maximize the business benefits. Developing a successful digital strategy requires a cross-functional team that includes executive leadership, business departments, and last but not the least, IT. By empowering information technology leaders and those in other customer-facing departments to work together, a consistent digital customer experience can be delivered.
All right, Mr. Aziz, now you are in a sector which is based on, or the business outcome is based on a lot of predictability, lot of artificial intelligence, lot of RPA also, which used to be done manually. You predict manually, but there are obviously tools these days. So how are you, or are you doing any kind of projects, or you are already into that, those AI and artificial AI and RPAs kinds of things, so that the predictability becomes accurate or close to accurate? Similarly, some of the manual jobs which can be taken care of by the robotics or the RPAs.
See, artificial intelligence or the robotic process automation, this assists the manufacturing in optimizing its operations. It meets customer demands and keeps the employees safe. Physical robots are already in use in some form or the other in the factories. That helps in the actual manufacturing process. We are now currently looking at some RPA solutions that can streamline complex back office operations, such as vendor communication, payment processing, report generation, invoice generation. And we are also looking at for some AI tools that will assist in resource planning, root cause analysis, predictive maintenance. Now, all this clubbed together forms the crux of implementing AI and RPA in an organization. So I'm rooting for that.
All right, no problem. Looking forward to hearing more about that in the future times once you are done with all these projects. Now, especially during the pandemic, even after the pandemic, what we are hearing from the leadership is that there is a crunch in budget, because there is huge investment in other areas. So IT guys are getting less budget, and the expectation from the management is more. So how do you manage with given budget by the management to you, or are you kind of given a free hand to use the budget, or what's the kind of strategy, or how do you manage all these things?
Up to some time before, the IT departments in all the organizations were considered as the cost center. Now this has slowly changed. Now budgets are a very big pain for all the departments, even for IT. According to me, budgets can be optimized by centralizing consolidating the data, gathering requirements by different divisions and departments, and clubbing them where required. Bring everybody on the same page so as not to have duplication of work. Also, we do real-time comparisons by using the available historical data and the requirement to discover trends and opportunities and potential risk beforehand, so that there are no surprises in the end and going over budget. Also, proper planning of the projects and keeping the risk registers updated for each process beforehand helps in optimizing the budget. Also, defining the scope of the projects and modifying the service level agreements and KPI to reflect it.
All right, I think before you wind up this conversation, I would definitely hear from you about your advice to your peer group or the people who are budding in nature to be the leaders in future.
See, CIOs today are one of the main pillars in an organization. Already the CIOs are on senior board positions in many organizations and valuable participants as well as contributors at the top of the organization ladder. My suggestion to all my peers is to accept the change and get involved with the change. That is the way forward, and that is the success for achieving the digital transformation as well as the trends.
All right, Mr. Aziz, thank you very much for taking time out and speaking to CIOTV.live.
Yeah, it was my pleasure.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Mustansir Aziz, Head of Information Technology, Automech Group, UAE. And if you have any question or query, you can drop a mail. My email ID and phone number will be given at the end of this conversation. Thank you for watching this episode of CIO TV. Thank you.
Thank you.